The Leader of the Third Party.
My next question is also to the Premier, Speaker. As we continue to learn the details of this unspeakable tragedy and the ones before it, I want to ask the Premier very clearly, does she have faith? Does she have faith, Speaker, in the current rules and regulations?
Stop the clock. The member from Beaches East York is warned. Carry on.
Does she have faith in the current rules and regulations that are currently in place in the province of Ontario to make sure that long-term care homes are safe for the people who live in them?
Thank you. Premier.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. Speaker. And I want to be very frank with the legislature that what the Minister of Health and Long-Term Care has said is exactly right. We're dealing with allegations in a very horrible, horrible situation, Mr. Speaker. But there are processes that are in place that need to unfold. But, Mr. Speaker, if the Leader of the Third Party is suggesting that somehow I'm not interested in getting to the bottom of this, that I don't know, I don't want to know what happened, she's absolutely wrong, Mr. Speaker. I believe that there are systems in place that are set and are designed to protect the innocence of people against whom there are allegations, but also, Mr. Speaker, to make sure that answers are found to very difficult questions. If, Mr. Speaker, as those processes unfold, and I'll complete my answer in the supplementary, Mr. Speaker.
Thank you. Supplementary.
Speaker, I agree with the Premier insofar as this is a very tragic situation, that we're talking about someone's parents, grandparents, brothers, sisters, aunts or uncles. We're talking about family, Speaker, and that's what makes it so extremely important. But Ontarians need to know exactly what's being done by the Premier to ensure that something this horrific and heartbreaking never happens again. So will the Premier be directing her Minister of Health to review how the government monitors nursing homes in this province?
Thank you. Premier.
Oh, as I said, Mr. Speaker, there are processes in place right now that must be allowed to unfold, Mr. Speaker. It's absolutely imperative that the police have the opportunity to do the work that they need to do to get to the bottom of the questions that are obviously being asked by everyone, especially by the families of the people who have died, Mr. Speaker. And it is the responsibility of the government and the Ministry of Health to make sure that all of the systems and protections are in place. But, Mr. Speaker, at some point, if there is a need for an independent review or an inquiry, we will absolutely undertake that, Mr. Speaker, not because of political pressure from the NDP, Mr. Speaker, but because we all need to have the answers. But in the interim, Mr. Speaker, there are processes that the police are leading, and they need to be allowed to do their work.
Answer. Thank you. Final supplementary.
Well, Speaker, these deaths are unspeakably tragic, and I can only imagine the pain that these families must be feeling right now. But it's not about impeding a police investigation, Speaker. It is not about impeding an investigation into this tragedy. But there are 78,000 Ontarians in long-term care right now, and that means 78,000 families are looking to the Premier for reassurance about their loved ones. When will the Premier be taking action to ensure that Ontario has the most effective oversight, the most effective possible oversight and monitoring of our long-term care facilities?
Thank you. Premier.
Minister of Health and Long-Term Care.
Minister of Health, Long-Term Care.
Well, Mr. Speaker, I believe that I know that we have one of the strongest oversight mechanisms for long-term care homes in the entire world, and we continue to work to improve that. But I want to speak to the families of those that are at the centre of these allegations, and I want to assure them that we as a government will do absolutely everything possible to answer their questions, to answer the questions that they have, that their family members have, that Ontarians have and rightly deserve answers to. And we'll do that in the context of collaborating and participating in the police investigation that is underway. And I want to reassure the 78,000 individuals who call long-term care homes their home, Mr. Speaker. There's nothing more important to me, and I give them my absolute commitment as Minister of Health to do whatever I can to ensure their safety and their security in their homes, wherever they might reside in this province, Mr. Speaker. That is my obligation, and that is my commitment to them.